So I think I'm gonna go into part 2 of this video because I stopped the recording. But this is what I wanted to say about the new moon. So now I would like to talk about Three-Eye Atlas. This is our other participant within the context of what we're healing and moving through. It's well, I kind of before that wanted to also make a little stop that October 21st, new moon, seeding intentions, I belong, kore, koraye. And then with that, we do have a whole stellium in Scorpio that is going to accompany us for a little while with the sun, Mars, the moon, Mercury, and Black Moon Lilith, and Three-Eye Atlas in tropical astrology. Will be moving through around the 8th degree of Scorpio at its position closest to the Earth. We'll talk about that a little bit more. So that is a lot of Scorpio energy. So if we look at what the Scorpio energy means, we're talking alchemy, we're talking transformation, we're talking looking at shadow, not escaping shadow. There is no bypassing the shadow. There is no bypassing the pain, the fear, and what has kept us small and scared. This is the time where we can be resilient and go and be courageous and say, I can look in there and forgive, transcend, transmute. And that would be the greatest gift of that Scorpio. Otherwise, guess what? October 23rd, Sun square Pluto, right? Chiron in conjunct Mercury, Mercury and Lilith, and Uranus in conjunct the Sun. So this is a good recipe for revolution. This is a good recipe for a lot of anger, for a lot of power dynamics, for a lot of manipulation. There could be a lot of disclosure because we are in Scorpio and Mercury there wants to uncover, and because it's this whole stellium is hosted by Pluto, a lot of the dirt of humanity, of the horrors of humanity might be disclosed and seen and publicly exposed for everyone to 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 see how horrible we as humans could be. And how? By the most horrific acts of horror humans can do. And because the Scorpio really is, it can be nasty, can be, it's dominant, it's power, and it's the misuse of power. And in this case, is the Sun Pluto is the big egos that want to rule, and a little bit of humility will be probably the best way to go. It's not to, flaunt your big ego and push, because this is a very pushy energy. This could be very pushy. It's my way, it's what I want, and it comes from a wounded masculine. Remember that pushiness comes from the lack of vulnerability. So remember, we have a grand trine that is saying, can you look at the vulnerable place, at the little child, this little inner child that wanted to play, to be, and was shut down? Can we just look at that little inner child and give it so much space to cry, to say, it's okay to cry. It's not, oh, boys don't cry, don't be a wuss, you're a sissy, shove it up and just show up and be tough, learn how to fight. This is the time where we're going, no, you know what? It's painful. Yes, when things hurt, they do hurt. And when we cry, we let that move. This is the feminine. Otherwise, the amount of repressed anger that we might see during these times, I'm just saying that it's possible. That's the perfect storm sometimes for revolutionary acts where people say enough, it's enough. We're not taking oppression anymore from anybody, and then that's when we can have a lot of people that go crazy. So the best thing is, well, the good news is that we do have so much energy of awakening at the same time with this energy. Now, Neptune is also moving back into Pisces. So we're not only having, we're just having a quintuple whammy of water. This is the water. So things to do when we have so much water. Cry. Cry as much as you can. Do cry sessions. Those are great. Why? Because they release. They are releases. Cry for no reason. That's also good. You don't have to have a reason. If you feel some emotion, you've been trapping it, cry. That's good. It moves the waters. Um, swim. Swim. Go to the water and be in the element of water so you can learn to flow with the water instead of resist, right? This can help release the energy. Dance. Dancing, especially flowy movements, where that can move the waters within. You can move your internal waters, aka the blood, aka the fluids, your internal waters. It's important to do that. I've been doing a lot of humming, and humming is proven to be like amazing for calming the nervous system down. And because it's like the vibration of your own voice going hum, starts vibrating the tissues. And guess what? That your own voice knows its own intelligence and slowly can shake things off, you know? Things that have been stuck, when you shake them, eventually they rearrange. It's like little internal tremors, right? So little things to do. Rearrange your waters, cry. Emotions, share your emotions. Here we are talking about it's Mercury, Mercury and Lilith, and the moon. Share your emotions deeply and fully. This is a week to share honestly, to really like go naked, go vulnerable, and you'll see how much more connection, how we can then feel the belonging come through because there's a deep sharing. Good time for heart circles, for family reunions that are willing to to forgive. And if you're still holding on to grudges, well, question yourself, ask yourself, is this my hurt ego? Or can I be have a little humility and a little curiosity about this? Mercury also represents curiosity, and in Scorpio and in water is curiosity around the depths of my own emotions and other people's emotions, because we're still have Venus in Libra in its own sign, which the beautiful thing about this Venus, even though it's an unaspected Venus, it's that it is holding a level of beauty and harmony that is possible. This is where we can also beautify our spaces and find things to make more beautiful. So it's harmonizing and beautifying energy. All right, moving on. 2-3 Atlas. Okay. Da, 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 da. So this is October 29th. This is by the end of the month. We will have Mercury and Lilith would have moved into Sagittarius, but we still have the influence of 3A Atlas that will be between the Sun and Mars. And well, that can have many meanings again, because the Sun, which is the essence of self, the source or the source of all light, is the Sun, and Mars, the will. It also represents the masculine principle of force or will. So we are transforming the will for sure into what? Into something that can create new worlds with Jupiter, new ideal worlds. Jupiter is the ideal. Jupiter is looking into the big, big picture. And in Cancer is the tribes, the families. We talked about the ideal humanity where we can feel safe and the slow and steady progress towards that. Now, 3i Atlas, it's an object. It's said to be a comet. There's a lot of speculation still. I did some research on it, not super extensive, but I'll give you a little bit of the rundown. And the perihelion means is the time where it's going to be closest to Earth, which means its influence on our Earth as a cosmic object is the biggest, because its energy, its frequency, its physical matter, it's going to be the closest to Earth and to enter our solar system. Now, in mythology, well, first let's do the physics of it. So this is where it's currently, this is its orbit. So it comes from very, 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 very far away. It's a one-off. It's not orbiting like the Halley comet or other comets that are bound to the sun's orbit, and they kind of come every so often. No, this one comes from really far away and goes by, says hello and see ya, and leaves a message and keeps going. You see, just keeps going that way. Um, so at the end of the month and into November, it will be, if you see the Earth is here and the sun is here, the sun is so bright that we won't be able to see it because the light of the sun will be hiding it, which is, it's as though from the Earth there is some kind of a veiled message. We can't see it, but it's there, and it's almost like I'm seeing like this Santa Claus is coming with some gifts that we can't unwrap until it's Christmas. You know, it's like it's there, it's coming, but you can't open it until the day we're ready for it. And when we're ready for it, poof, it will be like a big revelation. This is how I feel. This is going to happen, and because it's between the orbits of the sun and Mars, this is where I feel this object is bringing really a new understanding to that masculine principle, to the principle of will. It has already would have gone close to Venus as well. So it is kind of touching these planets from its it's leaving its wake. So how I see 3i Atlas and why I have a dragon here, you'll see. So the data. So it's an interstellar visitor on a one-time hyperbolic path. It's an active comet, supposed to be a comet, displaying sublimating ices. So it's kind of like an interesting composition, different from regular comets. CO2 dominated composition with minimal water release. So apparently this is not like the normal for a comet. So it has like strange behaviors. Early water detection at unusually large distance. So whatever it's doing, it's like, oh, this is not what we usually see in a comet. Reverse volatile sequence. So the OH before the say CN. I don't know much chemistry, so I did not go into this. So I'm doing astrology, not chemistry. So definitely there's something different that it's doing. Exceptionally high surface activity, stable brightness without rotational variability. It's an ancient object, possibly older than the solar system, and it is said that it's like could be 3 billion years old or more. So at least 3 billion years old. That's like old. Perihelion, it's on October 29th at 1.36 astronomical units from the sun. So I don't know exactly what this means. It's probably really far away, but but what it means is the closest to the sun that it will ever be. And like I said, see ya. Now, the dragon. Why did I put this cosmic dragon here? In some mythologies, the comets were associated with the dragon energy. And dragons have been making a big comeback in our collective psyche and collective culture. I don't know if you knew, but last year was the year of the dragon. And there was a lot of mention of dragons in a lot of things. In the esoteric communities, there was a lot of connection to dragons, like actual connections. Lots of people speaking or saying at least they're channeling dragons. Again, at the risk of being too woo-woo here, I would want to share a little bit of my experience with it. Oh gosh. At the risk of being too woo-woo, so woo-woo disclosure, if this is not your thing, you can skip and go back later to more of the astrology of it. But I do like the woo-woo part because I think if we didn't have something else to believe in and to connect to, life would be kind of like stale. So I am a very grounded person. I can see what reality is like, but I am also very connected to the other side in ways that are kind of interesting. So, dragons. Last year, I started feeling dragons, and then I started seeing, dragon things everywhere. I was like, oh wow, this is unusual. Now I'm seeing dragons everywhere where I used to not see them. Then there was a lot of information about dragons, and then I had this urge to paint a dragon. So I painted a dragon over a wall. And as I was painting this dragon, woo alert, um, I got this message. Like I could even see it in my mind's eye. It was a white and gold dragon, even though I was very adamant at painting it red and black. For whatever reason, it would match better the colors of the building. But no, this dragon was saying white and gold, and my paint tray fell to the ground, spilling all the red and black, and was like, oh, I guess white it is. So as I was painting my dragon and making it gold, all the symbols were coming through. And I was like, wow, this is very beautiful. Beautiful symbols. And then when I took a break for lunch and I was talking about this dragon, suddenly this like thing came through and I closed my eyes and this message started coming through me. Blah, 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 blah. And then some light language came through. And that felt as though it was the energy of this beautiful, it was a very beautiful dragon. I can't even explain the energy of it, but like I say, in woo-woo terms, when you connect to some entity or energy, you feel the imprint of it. So, long story short, to stop the woo here, that was one of the encounters with dragon, and I just went, okay, I'm just gonna paint it. But that's why artists in mythology, and you see in China and in other places where dragons were very big, artists will carve dragons, paint dragons, and that's why people like me that get these impulses or urges bring the art to bring the presence of these energies. Where do they come from? Are they legend? Are they mythical? Were they ever here? Who knows? But at least there is a connection to it. So back to our dragon and our mythical cosmic dragon, which is what I felt could be connected to the energy of this three-eyed atlas. And it's also the messenger of, it's like an old messenger, billions of year old, coming to earth with some ancient knowledge and wisdom. This is why the dragon feels very ancient, almost like from other galaxies and other places. It's like a traveler, a cosmic traveler. And here is like the ancient divine feminine, divine masculine, the ancient wisdom that is coming to earth. And there's a message, like I said, it's packed, wrapped up in a little gift and saying, humanity, you are ready for this. And those who are ready for this, you will receive it in all its glory. And what is it? We don't know. It's a surprise. That's the whole point. It's like nobody knows. We can speculate all we want, but we don't know what the surprise is. It could be a sudden awakening of grace. It could be, I don't know. It could be an actual encounter with aliens. It could be anything. It could be a physical geo thing that happens on the earth that changes our behavior. I don't know. It could be seen from many angles. And again, I don't want to speculate into the woo-woo like it's the only thing. I just like to give different perspectives. So, from that perspective, the dragon, and I mean this dragon or this comet, it's a messenger from beyond the solar system. So comets were typically seen as messengers. Is the cosmic harbinger and traveler of change. And the change is announced. It's almost like you have no choice, but there will be a change. You have been advised. See ya. It's a bridge between worlds, the liminal threshold, the bearer of extremes and anomalies. And this is where we go, well, and particularly this object is very, very anomalous. So this is where we go. We're treading into territories we have never treaded before. We're creating something that is outside the cycle of samsara, where we keep recycling our karma over and over again. It's as though something new really is possible for humanity. And fingers crossed, I do believe it's possible. And we are, if you're watching this, you're one of the agents of change. Don't wait for the world to change. You change inside and create the world you want to see around you, right? We are the agents of change. Is the keeper of primordial memory and deep time. And this is where we go back to the original blueprints of divine source consciousness that are finally being dismantling whatever fake matrices we've been, the fake matrix that everybody talks about. Finally, that's coming down. And that's a very abstract concept. I understand it's an abstract concept, but let's think about a matrix as a system of belief in the psyche that keeps us trapped and believing that we're limited little humans, whereas the potential of the human in its awakening through the kundalini energy, and comets are also associated with the serpent. The kundalini energy is where the energy moves from the base of the spine, moves up to the crown, and unlocks the capacity of consciousness to move between dimensions. And this I can definitely tell from experience, not from I read it in a book, because I did have a Kundalini awakening when I was 24 years old. It was very real. It was not something I imagined. I can talk about this later on, but in my Kundalini awakening, there was definitely energy moving through my spine. It was very intense. It heated up, it went to my ears, opened something up here, and then I felt my body could leave, and then I could find myself traveling in different, let's say, yeah, dimensions. And it was scary and confusing because I was not really understanding what was going on until I read more about it and the experiences about Kundalini, astral traveling, and multidimensional existence. And yes, I've had this, so I can say that from that perspective, many people might be starting to have Kundalini awakenings. And as much as it can be very scary at first, because it has to burn through a lot of ethereal material and density to be able to even to wake up. But as have we have been purging and purging and purging, a lot of people might be having Kundalini awakenings and mystical experiences beyond what is understandable. In order not to go crazy with these experiences, I had very little information when I was 24 years old, and I was literally very scared. So now you know that if it happens to you, don't be scared. No, it's a divine process. It's happening. It's normal. It's an evolutionary process. And to stay grounded, you need to eat healthy foods, do a lot of grounding practices so that this amount of voltage can ground into the earth, because you will be the bringer of spirit. But if our bodies are sick, if our bodies are not strong, this energy can blast you, or you know, or it could be too much for the nervous system. You could have nervous system breakdowns, feeling like you're crazy, a little bit like I did back then. Um, but now I'm here to at least tell you that if that happens, you have a grounding cord to earth, and you'll be good. You'll be all good. Um, The keeper of primordial memory, I said that's the original blueprint that transcends the matrices. It's a catalyst for revelation and transformation, and that's what I'm saying. Revelation also comes from awakening, so it could be the Kundalini moving through. Astrological wildcard and transpersonal agent. This is the wild card because we didn't see it coming. It was discovered in July or June, I think, and poof, this object just appeared. It's a wild card. It's some energy that nobody knows archetypally how to really match because it's unprecedented. It's not like, oh, when this comes, this always happens. This is, oh, this has never been before. We have no clue what's going to happen. So this is where we need to trust that there is a bigger plan, much bigger than our little egos. Now, something I've been doing a lot lately is a lot of breath work and deep breath work practices. And the more I do breath work, the more I can feel the energy move through. And that has kept me very peaceful despite the amount of psychic things. I do pick up on a lot of energy all the time. So I have been keeping myself quite removed from crowds, people, social media, quite removed. A lot by myself and a lot in nature, and only, I still have to go to work and be with groups of people and do things, but I try to do other things. I've been playing the flute also, my flute, and that has helped me keep very calm using the air, right? All the air energy that is present right now with Pluto in Aquarius and Uranus in Gemini. Anyway, pop, that's that. And that's it. So this is it for my three atlas. Oh, well, I did have Um, I think no, that's it. That's what I wanted to say about Three Eye Atlas. So, I think we're done. What else could I say? This is yeah, big times of change. Embrace this October um as a time of deep transformation. Don't let it pass by again with the same patterns, the same behaviors you've had, or the same uh harboring of resentments or any of that. This is a time where we could literally quantum jump, like literally. I do believe it is very possible because in my own life I've been feeling very drastic shifts where there was a whole kind of thing, and one day I was really not well, and I could see the whole timeline of this universe of not wellness reflected in everything all around me. Then the next day, after releasing, purging, reconnecting, crying, poof, the next day was this jump, this up leveling of love and connectivity. And I was like, wait a minute, yesterday I wanted to die, and today this is, I mean, the most beautiful experience of earth I could be. And I'm like, okay, well, this is what leads me to believe that it is possible, that it is happening, that a lot of you who are watching this channel and have stuck to the very end of it, of this presentation, are doing this work, and that we have to have a deep trust in our connection to the divine. There is no other way around this, because the ego, as we see in the astrology, is not gonna do it. It's not gonna pass to the next level of connected, open, compassionate humanity. It's not supported anymore. So anybody who still wants and chooses to stay in ego behaviors will probably experience a different reality. This is where the earth split that Dolores Cannon talked so much about is probably really starting to happen. And it's not like it splits in one day. No, it's more like you start really noticing that your life, your world is beautiful, is bright, people around you are generous, everybody's collaborating, you have beautiful communities. And then you sometimes vaguely hear, oh, in another part of the world is havoc and terror and horror, until one day you don't even hear about that anymore. It's not part of your reality. It's not even part of your life at all. It's not even in the news because you're not even interested in the news anymore. And a lot of spiritual people, like, and spiritual, I don't mean bypassers, but people that have been really being going deep into this spiritual path, are really not interested anymore in much of the mundane. And that's kind of my experience. I was hearing a video by Alan Watts where he was literally saying why a lot of people that are awakened are really leaving the whole, world of appearances. Like it's like you're not even interested anymore in the worldly matters, in politics, in any of that, because it drains the energy out of your brain, of your mind. It's like I have better things to do with this creative thing, like create beautiful things, beautiful connections, a new world. Like why do we put so much energy and attention into all the fighting and strife and political, striving and this and that and dramas? And that is the question. Why are we doing that? Where we could be much more happy creating a life for ourselves and removing ourselves from all of that. That's why all the fake news, social media, fear mongering, it's so passe. That's what I gotta say. So if you're like me, awesome. I love you. And if you're not like me, awesome too. I love you too. You're where you are, and you're probably not on this channel if you're if you're still wanting to hate on people or things like that. But it's a process. You will always be loved regardless where you're at in the process. That's what the new consciousness is about. It's really about accepting and integrating everything and anyone at whatever stage they are. So that's me. I love you so much. I will see you in the next video. And I hope this has served you. And have a good rest of October. And happy Halloween.